Good afternoon, traders. This is Wednesday midday. Nick Van Ice for the Trader's Edge. I wanted to showcase what I believe to be a one of the best trading setups I've seen in a long time, and it involves cryptocurrency. And the security I'm going to look at is MicroStrategy. And Michael Saylor, as you know, is probably the most widely known pioneer of at least marketing and communicating the value of Bitcoin in the world. And I think it was sometime last year they came out with a Bitcoin product, a new product. They're starting to write treasuries and notes on Bitcoin, and they pay interest. They pay fixed income, and you can buy into their products. And this big decline in Bitcoin, the underlying has put a lot of pressure on their stock. And so you can see on this, I'm going to change scenes here. I'm going to show you what the monthly chart looks like. We've had about a 75% decline in MicroStrategy, while Bitcoin is only down 50%. Think 125 to down to 60. So just over a 50%. MicroStrategy has dropped from in the 500s down to 100, so closer to 80%. And look where we're finding support, right there at our long-term trend indicator, the monthly 50 period average. It also happens to be this right at this old consolidation, kind of the apex of this consolidation between 24 and 2025. And the low of the wick intercepted the first high, the first bull run we had after the IPO of MicroStrategy. We came flying up here to over 100. Then we had to sell off, and it took a good couple years to base out. And then we went on this epic run with MicroStrategy. Now here we are back at this major 75% pullback. Let's look at it on a weekly chart. You can see on a weekly chart, we're hovering. We've after that climactic sell-off that we had last month, we went. It was just like in a one-day period, it dropped 20%. We went from 144 to like 100 over a week. This is a weekly range. And then afterwards, we basically went sideways. And I started watching this after I saw the volume. The volume spiked in all the cryptos. It literally spiked. Let's see what the volume of actually the stock did. Yeah, it spiked to about 197 million shares versus an average of, no, excuse me, it was about 80 million shares versus an average of 26. So about 3 to 3.5 times normal volume. That's what the crypto or Bitcoin did too in some of the markets that I track. So this is a clear capitulation in my book at a long-term support, and we went sideways ever since. Let's look at the daily now. Now you can see this massive spike on the bottom really well here on the daily. Anyway, after that, I started nipping, I started fishing and buying, bottom fishing and buying MicroStrategy. I bought more the last couple of weeks, and now I've got a pretty decent position. I think I'm close to 5% of equity anyway in my MicroStrategy. At least that's the majority of my 5% exposure to Bitcoin and crypto in general. But look at how bullish this looks on the daily now. And what we want to see is some expanding volume as we come out of this base. Let's look at it on the hourly chart. So you had this big climactic bottom. We came up, we've stabilized, we've went sideways. We've really kind of compressed. And if you just take the wick off of that, it's basically stayed in this range, for the last several days. And now we're breaking out. We've broken up that downsloping trend line. And I'd like to see it take this 136 out. Last week's high was 136.12. So right now we're 135.81 as I do this report. I want to see it take out next week's high. Going back to the weekly chart, this is bullish divergence forming. We've got a series of lower price lows where stochastics are starting to base out and turn up. We've already flipped higher if we can close here. So literally, when I do this update, we're on the verge of doing a key weekly reversal. Again, it's not done, but I want to put this on your radar because I think there's a 3 to 5x. I think we can go from this 100 area to 500. That's 5x. And I think it happens this year. And all we need is Bitcoin just to base out. Let's look at Bitcoin. MicroStrategy is the largest holder of Bitcoin in the world as far as a publicly traded company. All we need is for Bitcoin just to base out here in around the 60,000. As long as we don't take this out, I think MicroStrategy is going to outperform relative on a relative basis. And if this is the bottom of Bitcoin, we start chopping higher into the rest of the year, even modest gains, you're going to see MicroStrategy, in my opinion, you're going to see it double. And if lo and behold, Bitcoin gets hot and starts running back to its all-time high, which is possible by the end of Q4 after the midterm elections in November, you could see MicroStrategy 5x getting back to that 500 or beyond. So this is one of those deals where, you know, hey, size yourself and, take appropriate risks. Um, but I'm telling you, this has got the potential. Now, potential doesn't always pay out, right? My trades I'm only 35, 40% profitable. I only win about 40% of the time. So take it for what it's worth. But if you could 3 to 5x your money, and if when you lose, you only lose maybe 10% of what you're risking on the trade, or a few percent, that's a winning trade. That's a winning strategy. So I would be probing MicroStrategy. I'd be, using your own risk parameters, but wanted to put this on your radar. All right, that's what I got for you. Talk to you later. Bye.